Hi, people. Our complications have developed some complications. And within those complications, some more complications have surfaced. And I would like to just show you. So I brought in my hex cam that I drew, and I placed it in my box, and I did the tangent mate between the rod and and I chose that surface right there of the hex cam. And I press animate. And to be honest, I wasn't that surprised when this happened. Well, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew something funky could very well happen because the pair cams hinted towards it when they were being a little bit difficult yesterday. So I get this thing to spin, and let's see what happens. Whoa! Hey, oh my goodness! That's not supposed to happen, right? The pair cam is pretty much doing its thing properly. The hex cam, we do not know what it's doing, but I do know why. And the reason why is because Onshape doesn't have a proper cam constraint. And it doesn't recognize that this is all really, essentially, I want it to be anyway, one surface all the way around. It has it as, that's one surface, that's a second surface. This has 6 different surfaces. And so when I constrained it, made a tangent to one of them, well, then it does really funky things when that edge that I've chosen rotates out. So I spent a silly amount of time, which I will not even tell you, but I learned how to trick Onshape, okay? And I'll make a quick video on how I did it if you're interested, but I'm not going to require you to do it. And basically what I ended up doing, we're making things called the Snail Blob and the Hex Blob. Right, so I'm going to let's see where I'm at here. I'm going to insert. Why don't we bring in the hex blob, because we just saw the hex cam. So here's the hex blob. Now, why am I calling it a blob? Because if you look closely enough, it's kind of blob-like. You'll notice a little bit of a curve there at the edges. It's not a perfect hex cam. Right, look at that little weirdness right there. But the reason it's like that is because I tricked Onshape. I tricked it into thinking it's just one object. And I did it with a spline tool by tracing the original extrusion, the original hexcam extrusion. I just traced it with a spline tool, created a new sketch, copied that sketch, brought it into a different part file, and extruded that sketch that I drew with just basically, a pen all the way around. And so now it thinks it's one surface, right? So let's see if this works. Get rid of that one. That's the proper hexcam. If I was going to 3D print a hexcam, I would print this one. This is mathematically correct. If I tried to 3D print this, I'm not sure what would happen, but it might be ugly. But let's see what happens here and contrast it to what just happened with the other one. So let's go ahead and fasten. Oops, wrong one, sorry. Let's go ahead and fasten this to here. And let's offset it to get it underneath that follower rod. I think that'll be 5 3/4 inches. Let's see how that goes. Yep, that's in position. And then let's go in here and do the tangent mate. And I'm going to choose this thing's, actually I'm going to choose this thing's not face, but edge. And I'm going to choose then this and say, okay. And I actually haven't tested this yet. It's just a theory. It's going to work. I know it is. Oh my goodness, it better. Right, here we go. So let's go find the revolution mate. There it is. And get this thing spinning. And, oops, animate. And 3,600 degrees in 900 or 1,000 steps or something, 900 steps. And yeah, now it works. Look at that. It thinks it's one surface. And so now the hexcam is doing what hexcams do. Little vibrations. It's funny. It's sort of varying in speed a little bit, but that's just, I think, a funkiness of the software. processing power or something of the software. So, but now it's working like it should. Now, I tried the Snail Cam in here too. I tried the Snail Cam, and it too was no good. Right? The Snail Cam stopped immediately. It didn't work at all. But let's bring in Snail Blob. Come on forward, Snail Blob. Come on forward. Here we go. Here's Snail Blob. So same thing. You'll notice this one's even a little bit more blobular, at least in one little spot. Look at that little bump right there. That's just where I was basically drawing, and one of my little dots, I went off to the side a bit. But again, so would I 3D print this one? No, I won't. I won't. But this is just to fool Onshape, so I can get my box working properly, right? When I put the actual Snail Cam in, it just was a failure, complete failure. So now let's see. I suspect this one will work too. Let's get this in the right orientation. And by that I mean, oh, that's just moving it, sorry. I want to go 180 around. That didn't get me where I want to be. I want this one to be 180. And let's see here. I'm not interested in that axis. I want this one. There we go. That's what I'm after right there. I'm just trying to get these things rotate this way, right? They rotate this way. So I want that follower rod to ride up this as this rotates that way and then drop down. So I think we're about right. I just want to get it oriented like that. And let's go ahead and mate them up. Zoom in on the hole and mate it to that right there. And offset it. I can't quite tell if it's all the way on the rod or just at the surface. So I'm going to go 5.5, but I might have to change that to a 5.75 depending where I just mated it. Let's see what happens here. Offset. Oh, that's not right. Sorry, 0. I put it in the wrong spot. 5.5 is here on the z-axis. Oh, and it went that way this time. So maybe negative 5.5. See how we're doing here. Yeah, now that's right underneath the cam, right underneath the follower rod. I'll accept that. I'll push this up a little bit so I can get in there, and I will zoom right in and mate, tangent mate that. Let's see, that edge of part 1 to this surface here. Say okay. Back out and animate it. And just change this to a 10 rotations and a bunch of steps. And let's see what happens now. I've got it going the wrong way. Oh, that's not quite right. Something's funky. Let me see the whole rod. Oh no, it's okay. It's just rotating the wrong way. Let me rotate the other way. There we go. That's better. That's the motion of the snail. Yeah, so that's working just fine. Right? That's how Snail Cam works. It's a slow rise and then a quick drop. A slow rise and a quick drop. And then it just reversed direction because it got to its full value there. But when it goes so Snail Cams like to go this way, obviously. A physical build, if you went the other way, the computer can do it. But if this way works, because then it just drops. But if you rotate the other way, watch. That's going to hit your rod and actually just bang and break something or stop the machine, right? So on the computer it works because what does it know? But on an actual physical build, the cam needs to go this way, right? Rise, 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 and then it drops. So I'm going to share these blobs with you, so you don't have to do what I had to do. But I'm going to make a different video to show you how to make the blobs in case you want to do it yourself. Okay, very good. Have a nice day. Bye.